For my they do gifts for students every year.
All right, I think our microphone is working now.
And then we've got, we've also got financial committee considerations at the bottom.
Financial considerations. Okay. Well, it's a little.
Okay.
It's quick.
We're good.
Yeah.
Microphone working.
Here we go, okay. So we approve the agenda, let's, I motion to approve the minutes from June 1st and June 15th executive session. I have one change that I do need to make is that I have Sally listed as present and excused absent on the June 1st meeting.
Didn't
So
catch that.
so I do just need to remove Sally from the present part.
Then I motion to approve it with changes.
No, I was not.
Yeah,
Oh,
you were hoping to zoom in.
I have a question
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I noticed that for the executive meeting, it says that Drake was absent instead of excuse. Shouldn't that be an excused absence since he was here
Yes.
but wasn't able to?
Yes, yes, so I'll make those two changes.
Okay.
Okay, could I motion to approve those minutes with those
With
amendments?
this changes, I will second it. All in favor? Yay! Do we have any public comment?
I have not received any public comments.
I have not.
Well, didn't we, wasn't that this month that we did the thing at the dome school? I was gonna say.
Did you guys have public comment from
I
that?
mean, we commented to the public.
That'd be probably a community connection.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
community connection.
Yes, I was
Okay.
wondering where to put that
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we've got a spot. Look at us. Okay, then we're moving on to reports. Ryan, that would be you.
Oh, that's me.
Financial reports.
We take one and pass it along, take one, pass it along. One for you. One for you. One for me. Hi, Brad. As you can see, this is our statement of activity for May 2026. This is our revenue and our expenses for the month of May. At the top there, you can see $2 of contributed income. That's actually because of petty cash. When we were reconciling that, there's $2 extra. So we didn't know why somebody said they were taking $20 and took 18 or something. So we just called it contributed income. You can see general fund there from Three Rivers is always our highest revenue. And then we've got a little bit also some other things from TRSD, Three Rivers School District, the Student Counseling Fund, Technical Success, Title 1. Total revenue $98,486. Then you can see our expenditures. As always, our salaries are one of our bigger items. You can scroll down and see costs for the month for salaries, for other fiscal services and garbage and electricity and all kinds of things. Getting all the way down to the bottom, total expenditures, $78,777, which is a net revenue of $19,000. That's nice when you can take in $19,000 more than you spent. Part of the reason for that is because some of the our reimbursements costs happen in another month and then
Oh, yeah.
money, so if we spent it the previous month and then, actually got it, in May, then it's almost like an extra boost. So you can see there, any questions on our expenses or our revenue for the month? You can also notice at the bottom of the second side, our balances, our cash balances in checking, $99,707, in savings, $29,553 for a grand total. Cash on hand, $129,260.93.
Yeah, very healthy.
It's a bit of a drop from the previous month. So if anyone has their April statement, they'll be like, wait, how did this happen if we actually spent, took in more than we spent? Note that that balance is as of today. So that includes our June spending. June is the 1 month that we do not receive payment from Three Rivers School District. And so when you see that number, that means we continue to spend for the month of June, even though you don't see that on here because this is the negative report. And then we also continued, we didn't take in. So that's why this number, some of you might be like, wasn't it like 179,000 in the bank in April and now it's 129? But that is because that is not reflected in these expenses. These are the May expenses, and then this is our current balance as of today.
Okay.
So, and also note that come July, we actually get a double payment. So last year we got it July 11th, and so within 2 weeks we will probably have an additional infusion. Last year I think that payment was over $90,000. So even though we're considerably lower than what I said we had last month, come 2 weeks from now, we'll be higher than what we were. So that's the next thing.
What do you mean by double payment?
What we do is picture if you split the payments into 12 equal amounts. And then Three Rivers gives us 2 of those in July. And then 1 in August, September, October, November, December, January, March, April, May. And 0 in June. So essentially we get almost like getting the June and the July payment in July.
Okay.
So, any questions? I'd also like to introduce our finance committee. We've got 2 members here, 3 members here. Kelly and also
Me, Sally.
Sorry.
Susie,
I
Sally.
was thinking Susie for some reason. I was like, no, it's not Susie, it's not Susie. And so,
You can call Tracy.
we in the past have not really given a report from our committees to the full board. And I think we should start doing that. I think that now that we have a committee with a committee chair and we have minutes, I would like as part of the financial report, when we do have and it looks like Kelly's passing that. When we do have a meeting, which is maybe about 4, 5, 6 times a year, that at the next board meeting, I'd like to share. This meeting was last Thursday. Do you have anything to share, Sally or Kelly?
Other
About the meeting?
Well, Kelly's gonna talk about the meeting, but the only thing I can think of is who are the other boards on the financial committee?
This is Kenny,
Oh,
Carla,
Oh, nice,
and
sorry.
Dawn are other members that aren't here. And does everybody knows who all those people are? I do, but.
I know Dawn and Penny, I don't think I know Carla. Do I?
You probably met her, Cody's uncle, Jimmy, it's his girlfriend Carla.
Oh, okay.
Really smart
I
lady.
do know Carla, yep, I know all those people.
she works
Grants Pass.
in Grand
City.
Pass,
Yeah.
and she does a lot of financing for them, I think, with payroll and stuff.
Yeah.
So feel free to review the minutes, and I got nothing else to say. I don't know if Kelly or Sally wants to share anything about this, but.
Kelly's gonna go first.
Okay, Kelly.
I noticed, that you have this on the end of our agenda for today about the finance committee consideration.
If you'd like to do it now as part of the
Okay,
financial report.
let's do it now
I
while we're
think that
looking at this.
Okay, we'll just cross it off.
We have been meeting, we don't meet as often, once a month, but during, around,
So roughly
when
quarterly.
was that?
More often during the budget season.
Okay, so So, we were trying to decide when our next meeting should be, and it was coming up right after our next board meeting in August, and there was some discussion about, oh, maybe we should have our meeting before. So if there's, financial stuff, then we can bring it to the board and have it already, kind of talked about. But that would put us at a meeting in July. We didn't have any July meetings,
Understood.
especially.
Yes.
So we were maybe, okay, it was thrown out, could we move our board meeting to August 9th,
I think it was the,
10th?
I think it was the 13th.
No, it was the next Monday, it was the Monday after.
Yeah, it was a week later.
Yeah, and so that would be an option, or,
Just as a one-time thing, just for August.
but we also didn't know if there was anything gonna come up because nothing's happening in July, so do we really need to switcheroo everything?
Possibly. Because there might be something coming up.
Something always might come up.
Yeah.
So there's the financial meeting is August the 6th, which is Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And so, like Kelly was saying, that's why
If we
we
moved it
were
out a week.
saying,
How do you guys feel about that? I would be fine with that.
unfortunately, I know, Kelly plans her vacation.
How do you feel about that?
I might have to phone it in for that meeting if we move it, because I can't bring trip plan.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But do you think that you'd be somewhere that you could phone in?
I can drive to somewhere. It's down Lake, or I can find a hotspot or something.
It's not good reception up there.
It's not, but it's also might be too smoky to be.
No, yeah, well, a little hard to say.
Who knows? I don't want to change everybody's schedule just because I can make it work.
The other idea, because Kelly, called me this morning to have me add this to the agenda, and the other idea that I threw out is that, we are in the same attempt of not getting together in July, not just because the school is closed and we don't want to make any teachers come let us in, but also, some of us just have crazy Julys planned.
Yes.
Our chairperson specifically. And so my thought also was that we are inevitably gonna have an executive or a special session, again, for teacher leader review discussion to continue,
Yeah,
in August. And so if there was something that came up at that August 6th meeting for the finance committee,
we
then
could
we
talk
could
about it then.
potentially put that on a special session agenda,
Yeah.
and keep our August 3rd date.
Yeah,
Which I like that.
yeah, I mean, that's an easy.
Explain that
easy
to me
way to
again.
do it.
So, our next scheduled date is August 3rd, their next set date is August 6th. But we left our last special session about the teacher leader reviews as needing to have at least one more discussion after we all looked at the rubric and kind of came back together at least one more time, maybe twice. And so, if we thought about doing that in August, then we could add to that agenda, instead of having just a single item agenda of teacher leader reviews, we could add anything that came up at that August 6th meeting
I like that.
for the finance committee.
I like that.
And then we could have, we could schedule that for, the next week out, so that Kelly's back, it's mid-month, it breaks our, it doesn't put us back-to-back weeks of meeting.
Yeah. That
I'm
seems like.
still I'm sorry, I'm still very confused. So are you saying that the financial meeting on the 6th,
If there's things that come up at that,
There's things we wanna talk about, we could talk about them later.
on the
here
17th,
At our executive.
when we did an executive session, or a special session. Rather than have to wait until the September meeting, but also not having to
so
change
you're
our
saying
August
if
meeting.
something financially comes up,
Yeah, if you
at
guys
that
have
August sixth meeting,
Yeah,
that needs
which
to
I
be,
think there will be.
that needs to be added to a board approval kind of thing, then we can add it to the special session, so it doesn't have to wait until the
17th.
next month.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
You
that's
know,
much more
does
clear.
that make sense?
I was thinking we were gonna, this is what I heard. This is what I have to clarify, that on our financial, the sixth meeting,
Yeah.
that we would talk about the teachers.
Oh,
No,
yeah, oh, yeah.
Separate.
No,
Yeah.
okay,
Separate, but possibly together, but later in the month.
okay, so that proposal would sound like,
Well, I would propose, I mean, we could set a, if we wanted, we could set an executive, or we could set a special session date now for the 17th.
Yes.
that would
I think
include
that's a good
a
idea.
financial report,
And then we don't need a motion for that, do we?
and then.
So Monday the third is our regular
Yep.
meeting. And then we would have Monday the 17th as our executive. And
Monday
then,
the 17th.
is that right?
Yeah.
And then you guys have
Yep.
the finance on the 6th.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that would include
Okay.
what we found out about teacher observations and the.
On the 17th.
Right, our goal is
And the
to,
financial six.
On the 17th, yep.
our goal is to wrap up the teacher leader,
I mean, we'll see.
that's our hope, is
That's our
to
hope.
get all that.
We may,
Together and
we may,
finish by
we may
then.
not.
Yeah,
Well, you're
Yes.
right, we would have to meet together then as the interview, for the teacher's observation before that, to give a final discussion on.
yeah.
Right?
Wait, say that again?
Okay, so, for us to really truly give the observation.
We're not doing that yet. We're still just talking about the review process and what it actually looks like, because we haven't approved a review process yet.
So not necessarily on the 17th.
On the 17th, we are going to have a special session so that we can continue that conversation to try and concrete something closer to something that we can approve and say, this is the process.
'Cause our hope
So it's
is that,
another work session,
Yeah,
and then we'll do finance committee stuff at the same time.
well, I honestly, I have an issue about that because I think it's two really separate subject matters. One is finances, and so that's a whole different committee. And then the 17th,
They are two, so, I mean, you have your financial meeting on the 6th and you're just gonna be telling us about what you guys are up to.
You're gonna be bringing anything to us that the board needs to take into consideration at the 17th.
They are
It's
two
not a,
separate
it's not a mashup meeting, it's
No.
just,
Yeah,
it'd be a 2 agenda meeting instead of a 1 agenda meeting.
okay, so I'm still, so are you, let me ask, sorry. So the 17th, it's just gonna be like a executive board meeting. But
yeah,
we're not gonna talk about the process of what's gonna happen for us to observe teachers.
We are going to discuss,
we're gonna
yes.
discuss that, yes,
That'd be one of the
As a
agenda
whole
items.
Board,
Yes,
yes.
not necessarily the subcommittee of the,
There is no subcommittee for this.
there's, yeah,
for the, oh, I thought,
We're all working on that project.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the finance committee is a subcommittee, and you guys are gonna bring anything that needs to be voted on
Right,
to us that day.
but I don't remember like Ryan or you or her, at our meeting about talking about the.
well, Ryan's not on the board and doesn't have to be at any of our special sessions.
Okay,
Taryn was at our first special session about it, at the same time as Casey and Melissa were, and all 3 of them kind of gave us
And
their
you are
input.
Welcome to join
And,
us.
and didn't join us the last time, because of personal stuff going on. And we all felt like that was okay, that Taryn didn't necessarily need to be there for the next step of.
okay, so it's my confusion on, it seemed like just a small subcommittee to talk about.
Yeah, no, we'll all be there, we're trying to get it sorted out. I
Yeah.
don't know if we'll get it done on the 17th,
Yeah.
but we should get much closer.
Yeah.
So,
Nor do we.
and then that's an opportunity to do any voting we need to do on the finances, so.
How many
Boards
years?
and do everything.
Right.
I know it's our hope to have the teacher leader stuff wrapped up before school starts.
Yeah, it is.
But it doesn't have to be.
No, it would be ideal.
Yeah, it would be
But
ideal.
better to do it right than to do it
Yeah,
rush.
Because school starts on the 24th, correct?
I mean, just to put this out there too, though, in terms of like the observational period, they won't be any classes to observe until after school starts.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, I don't need us to get caught up in.
I just needed to.
Okay, is that everything about the financial committee considerations? If you have more, you know, share with us.
Well, Penny was suggesting that someone other than Ryan do payroll. And, Dawn mentioned interest, if that's something that he could do. There was nothing like defined. I don't know if we need to vote on that because we'd be paying, whoever does it, we can.
Well, and we already have a contract with Don, right? So if he was to do that, then that's something that we've already approved as a board.
I think I'd like to, one of the things we raised at the finance committee was, maybe me taking some time to see what were the things that I would first want to give up if we did have additional support. And so I think that's something we don't need to vote on today.
Okay.
So the theory behind that was to take some of the things off of Ryan's.
Yes.
Yeah, and anyone else in that level of admin.
And that subject came up about, well, then there's other teacher leaders that are also administrators that probably would like something pulled off of their plate as well. And so we discussed maybe if there is some money for more hours for another administrator, or, you know, this is all theoretical in the future.
Right, and these are some of the questions that we
Yeah.
are, and have as the teacher leader questions, you know, what do you need help with? What do you need changes with? So that is a subject we're definitely on to. So you're gonna take some time and kind of figure it out and let us know.
And I think that might be part of the discussion at the next financial committee meeting as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't saying you had to make someone else do payroll because of your position.
I think
Apparently.
basically what Kenny was noting is he has the sense that my hours, he doesn't really see the other teacher leaders, but he sees me. And he has the sense from what he's seen that maybe I could use an assistant. And just so that I'm not working 6 days a week if I am. And I had said, let me think about like what are the things that I really do need help with. So I don't know that we need to discuss that further here.
Okay.
But yes, the question that Kenny raised is there some way to have additional financial and or human resources support at the school? And we did not answer that question then. I would like to think about that myself.
Yeah.
And see if I have suggestions on what that could be. But that is the question that he was raising. Do we need additional finance and or human resources support at the school? And from our auditor saying it shouldn't be in the hand of one person.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things where I'm the only one who knows how to run payroll, for example. And so yes, perhaps there are things that should be distributed across multiple people.
Or what if someone says something suggestive to you and you have to report to HR, but you're HR?
Mhm.
That sounds like a joke, and I can tell my face was making.
That makes sense.
It was a real question.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can understand that suggestion and where you're coming from. That sounds good. Keep us posted.
And if something, God forbid, but if something happened physically to Ryan,
Oh my gosh.
you know, he is.
No.
No, I agree, but it's a reality question.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Well,
That's all.
Okay, great, we're looking forward to hearing more from you guys.
And then was there anything additional that you wanted to add to that?
Other than huge kudos
Yeah.
to these people who have figured it out over the last 3 years and have learned so much.
Agreed.
Maybe those hats might be big and heavy.
Right.
Okay, then we're still on reports. We've got the TRSD, ODE, and Department of Education report.
Alphabet soup.
Afternoon. All right, yeah, so this report's, fairly short this month.
Yay, thank you.
Well, no, no. Okay, so under rigors, right, our new contract, as we all know, takes effect on Wednesday, July 1st. So, yes, awesome. Followed by a little bit of down news that Title I funding just across the board nationwide is getting downsized next year. So I talked to Molly Kitchens of Three Rivers last Friday, and she said, well, district-wide, we're expected to lose $230,000. For us, it's interesting because I still think our total will go up simply because the money you receive is per student based on the enrollment levels taken on April 1st. So April 1st of 2 years ago, we were not yet at full enrollment. So if you look at our numbers for April 1st of this year, it will be more students. So, we still should be okay, but it's also disappointing because we've already been drafting up our wish list for our budget.
Yeah.
Especially to continue the Title I assistance and learning that we can use Title I money for our school library, to build up our school library. So, and our district-wide meeting isn't until early August, the first half of August is when I will know more information. Next up, Oregon Department of Education, more numbers and acronyms. The first one, I kind of predicted this at last month's report, that it's getting tighter what you can count as an instructional hour. So we are definitely going to lose the ability to count 30 parent-teacher conference hours and 30 professional development hours, as 60 hours total, towards our cumulative seat hour requirement. This is happening slowly. The change is happening slowly. They haven't even given more specifics. So in the fall, I'll learn more. And I'm just expecting to follow along with the district because our bus schedule is always going to align with theirs. And so what changes they make, we will follow through. I'm hoping there's things like we have longer break periods, we've got a longer lunch. I'm really hoping we don't have to cut back on those things that I think really add to the quality of life. Quality of life for our students. So I'll keep you posted in the fall. Second one is Division 22. There's a monthly online meeting I attend with other districts from across the state, and there are just two things to point out from this month's meeting: that they revised their requirements for emergency plans and drills, but they had been kind of floating that information for the past 6 months or so, and so we already had that new information out there before they decided to enforce it. So we've already planned out our emergency drill schedule for next year. It's in compliance with these new requirements.
Awesome.
And then the second thing was kind of a surprise, but it does not affect us for a while. It's just lead testing. They're just being stricter about lead testing, which is great. Yeah, very good. And the state will pay for it, but it's fine. You only need to do it once every 6 years, but they have us on a schedule, and they don't have us, our specific school is listed for 2029. So I already had, I'm like, great, we don't have to do this until 2029. And then I also think, I kind of want to do that sooner. Great, turn it
I was planning on having, my science classes, probably human body systems, walk around. And biology is gonna swab for bacteria, and human body systems is gonna test for lead.
That was so delightful.
So maybe if some red flag comes out,
Yeah.
we can get
It's gonna be the
formal
dishes.
diagnosis before.
It's gonna be the dishes.
That's a high possibility, yes.
It really is.
Yes.
It really is.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I've been watching.
Oh, our
some
first
red-
audition.
Me too.
Oh,
Right.
And then I got that one.
The dishes are typically one of your biggest lead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not eating them lead. Very nice to know soon. And then the last one is ice alerts. There's a new mandate coming out that we would
do no matter what. Districts and charters, if ICE comes on the campus, or if there's an alert that they're in the community, that we send out parents.
Are they allowed on our campuses?
Yes, in a way. We do not have to allow them entry. They would fight it, and of course, we haven't experienced this firsthand yet. And so they can technically, churches and schools are two places that they just historically, traditionally don't mess with. And this round, that they're messing with it, so they can. But then we have every right to not allow them on site and to put out as much of a struggle as we can put out.
We can lock the doors.
And we're inhabiting a private, a private property. Thank you, Brent.
Right.
Thank you, Brent.
Right, this is a private property.
Yes,
Yeah.
whereas
Public
like public schools are technically public zone property, and so like that could also give us another, protective
Barrier, yeah.
And we know they were spotted in God's house.
Yes.
They were here.
They were spotted
Yeah,
in the church outlet,
yeah.
So, yeah, so all eyes and ears on board,
So
and then
do you have to call somebody?
So we know what is that?
that make it like a parents for notification, so that parents know, like if, say ICE came into a parking lot and they did not gain access, just emphasizing the need for schools to communicate that to families.
Yes.
Like
So
ICE
it
came on the
would be
campus
locked
today. Pardon?
It would be almost like a
That's a good,
Well, it would be a secure, actually.
Yeah.
We would put,
yeah,
we would respond in the same way that a secure is called, where we would call everyone indoors, lock the school from the outside, and manage business as usual, like students able to freely move in the building, but not allowed to leave. And until they left, we probably wouldn't let parents in to get them. That's what an official secure is, but in that situation, I'm sure we could, have someone at the door letting parents in and out.
from my
Do
understanding,
you
we
have,
haven't,
do you have students that might specifically be at risk?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, as always, I mean, regardless of their immigration status, yes, that if people are being swept up, if they look a certain type, regardless of their immigration status, it has to be a same service. To the best of my knowledge, they haven't gone on campus to any Illinois Valley or Rogue River schools.
Not that I've heard of.
So some neighborhoods just, when it happens, they all converge and gather, and would you have a plan like something like that?
We would just have to lock them out.
As a school lockdown, as a community, there is Rogue Valley La Migra Watch on Facebook, and there are people locally who have a local network of like first alert. So if you're interested in that, we can give you some contacts.
I know about
Okay.
those things. Yeah, I just, like, it was, what I've seen is that they get out of calm, people converge really quick and just stand in the way of ICE.
That would be up to families, Terry. We would do what we need to do to protect students. But past that, that's not our responsibility to call on a community response. That would be up to families if they felt like that was the response they wanted to do on their own without us, because that's like a political decision. Protecting every student is not, but calling the community to disrupt their, what they're doing.
Parents can choose that from
Yeah.
Parent Square.
Yeah, if we put it on Parents Square, people do with it what they will.
Yeah.
The final update, Department of Education is being splintered off into, I believe, 14 different federal departments. So everything related to charter schools is going to the Department of Labor.
Everything for students 14 and up, right? Is Department of Labor?
They are, yes, except for like special education services, going to different departments, civil office of civil rights, I believe, actually, it might be Department of Labor. Yes, it's all being split out.
Wow.
At this moment, it hasn't caused any difference in the communications I receive from them. I still have the same program contact, the same people. So,
Really interesting.
it's very interesting. Okay, so that is what's happening in the
Casey.
outside world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good times, good times.
Next on our agenda is an academics report.
Our first ever meeting. Now our inside world, back to us. So this is our first official academics report, or maybe the first we've done in a long time.
I feel it's the first time I've seen it.
Is this what you sent us?
Yes, I emailed it because after last month's meeting, when I told y'all I'd email the report, and then I got busy and I did not. This time I emailed it before the meeting, so it's there. So yes, and I tried to keep this on one page, but I also wanted to include some images. So there are, so I wanted to focus it on graduation and our plan for next year. So the first thing is we made a super minor update to the graduation requirements PDF. It didn't require board approval because all it simply did, if you compare the left side, 25-26 requirements, to the right side, it used to say certain requirements would take effect for the class of 2027 and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
We're now at that age. Everyone is a class of 2027 and beyond. So we just removed those lines, no other changes to make. Okay, so everything is, absolutely the same. Number 2 talks about our graduation. We had graduation, as you all know, June 5th at West National Nature Center. And then we got some numbers for you. So the number of students who graduated after 3 years, like as an early graduate, or 4 years, which is considered on time. We had 11 students graduate on time. And we had 4 students graduate after 4.5 or 5 years. And then we're forecasting coming up next year, and you'll see that the on-time graduates jump up to 17, and 3 students need 1 or 2 more semesters. And then number 3 is some data we'd like to start tracking independently of those students who have attended KCA for their entire high school career. What percentage of those students graduate on time? And that's so far at measured to be 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
That's a number we need to know because we will always take the kids who are coming to us late in the game who've been struggling. Like we never want to set up any kind of way to push them out, right? So we're like, you come to us as a senior, you only have 4 credits and it's going to take you 5th year, we love you. Like absolutely. And of course, we don't know the politics of it. One reason schools try not to get these kids is that it impacts their overall graduation rate.
Yeah.
So our graduation rate, when we just look at on-time graduates, the 4-year graduation rate, it's probably never going to look that good. So we have to learn to like disaggregate this data and say, okay, then how many kids we graduate after 5 years? Who would have otherwise dropped out? And if a student starts with us as a 9th grader and sticks with us, what's the rate then? And so we need to learn to like be responsive to that data because I don't think our rates are ever going to be at 100%, which is very unrealistic when schools tout that.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you do to get that 100%?
Yeah.
Hi, Ivy High, for listening. You make them go to, like you kind of develop an alternative program and they go to SOSA. SOSA is one person in front of a laptop all day. It doesn't work for most kids. So we get a lot of those kids who just like, SOSA didn't work for them, Ivy High didn't work for them. So we need to be proud of the work that we do and also just aware sometimes we will get criticized when people only look at that 4-year graduation rate.
Right, but those aren't real numbers for us, so I love that you're tracking this.
Well, it could be 99.5%.
Oh, like in a real? It could be, and like,
I'm just
I
saying.
mean, it's also subjective anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's all we made up your grades and all that, and I understand schools when they feel that pressure to get a high graduation, I understand why they do what they do. And maybe as part of a luxury as the charter schools, we get to be smaller and have more of a unique story. So we can say, yeah, these are the kids. We get some super kids who are like super academically advanced, want to fly through the system, and then we get the absolute opposite, and everyone in between, and everybody belongs here. And that's what makes our community awesome.
Yeah, everybody gets to learn here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, and be proud of that.
I like that you have the graduation date already.
Yes, June 11th, 2027.
7-11.
Yeah, because the Labor Day this year is a little bit later, everything's starting a week later, yeah. Yeah, so our orientation this year is until I think the 27th of August. And we're not really getting rolling until about a week later, so graduation will be on the 11th. And the next page, of course, I put in the academic calendar, which y'all have already approved. There's been no changes made. I just wanted to sort of squeeze it in here for reference. Below that is new information, the semester class schedule, that's 3B. This first schedule that's posted, it says semester class schedule, and if you flip to the next page, it says fall semester schedule. They are identical, except for the first one listed also squeezes in some spring classes. So it looks quite cluttered. And this is kind of an internal document that we use as teachers just to see what's happening fall and spring. But then the document we give to families and kids is just semester by semester. And then we also set D as our fall intensive schedule. And we're doing something different with fall intensive this year. We just recognized that we weren't really doing orientation for school and our culture, and we thought that community class would cover that. And we realized we really wanted something much more, you're here now, this is what we are, this is who you are.
Yeah.
If you have a teacher leader as your person, then who else is in that group? We haven't really done much of like bonding of that group. And so just making it more, we call it an acclimation to KCA. And then I'm completely quote here from Taryn. We are reorienting fall intensive to be an acclimation to the KCA ecosystem.
I like that.
I think that's great.
And we have 4 guiding principles and we have 4 school days. So, so we did one guiding principle to like a theme of the day.
So
Monday is creative expressions of human right. And what that means is there'll be one thing that day, right? So like each day there'll be one of the periods focused on that theme. Second is youth leadership for genuine confidence. Third is rural communities count. And 4th is multiple perspectives to build a better world. And each day, if you notice during second period, meeting in TL cable groups. So I'm excited to do this with my kids. I've never actually like, hey, everybody, we're a group, we're a team.
Yeah.
In my classroom, second period, all that first week is bond. And so, yeah, and then ending with a field trip and going to the park and just trying to make it fun and still like, you know, on the lighter side, but also a little bit more intentional and acclimating to the culture. So, and that's it.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
I love that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If I had someone that I was trying to like, I chat up with the school all the time with prospective students. Can I show them this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this is, when I update the website with 26, 27 info, might not be until the beginning of August, but that's why this is kind of a preview, feel free to go on the side.
Yeah, cool.
So we're not expecting to change it
Cool.
between now and August. So.
Because I try to explain how special our school is, and I just start like blabbing all of this information, and like, you know, people glaze over after a while.
And we've always realized like there's a lot that we assume people know about this because we know it, like of course they don't. And so yeah, that's what we're working on, communication.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Any other questions or confusions?
This is fantastic.
Awesome.
Do you have an enrollment update for us?
I don't have the numbers. Who's got that? Taryn. It's on our enrollment roster.
Enrollment, yes, I have it pulled up, let me just click
Everybody,
my
like junior today.
1,000, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, all right, so, those zoom out, there's so much, okay, so, in total,
hang on, wait, there we go.
okay,
Sorry.
no, don't be sorry. It's all right.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I can slow down. I've
Uh,
actually been trying to remind myself to talk slower and more quietly because I notice it has an impact on my nervous system. So, yeah,
Being intentional about that.
yes.
Yes.
Just, you can tell me anytime.
Wait a second.
Love it.
I'm ready.
Okay. Right now, we have 53 students enrolled in total, with 11 spaces left altogether. We are 4 spaces over in our senior class. And we have 2 spaces in 11th grade, 6 spaces in 10th grade,
and 7 spaces in 9th grade.
2 available in 11.
6 and 10, and 7 and 9.
So with that being said, right now, what is that total like seniors?
Our seniors, we have 20 seniors. 2 of them are graduating in the fall. And then we also have 3 juniors on track to graduate early next year.
Okay.
And what's that total of the juniors?
Junior class has 14. The sophomore class has 10. And the 9th grade class has 9. We also have 2
Is that
students.
0? Did you say 0?
No,
I'm sorry.
we also have 2 students on our senior wait list.
Okay, and how many for freshman year?
9.
9,
Yeah.
okay.
We have 9 9th graders, 10 10th graders.
That's cute.
Oh, that is cute. 14
That's
11th graders and
Oh.
20 12th graders.
And you said that.
How many 11th graders?
14.
Oh.
That's okay.
You said that there's how many juniors on track to graduate early?
3.
3.
Well, I checked in with one, and she found her packet.
Okay.
Yeah, because the only reason it was no is because she hadn't turned in her packet. I was like,
Where were we last year?
we were not at 53 starting the year, I don't think, last year. And that's still in here, hang on, let me look.
Yeah.
I can actually access that, amazing. And it's 24, 25, because we're
Yeah.
and then
We always update it as we went though. What our board meeting minutes
Yeah.
have that?
maybe our board meeting minutes.
We should, yeah.
Probably,
Yeah, probably.
how long ago?
At the
So
beginning,
when,
right?
so when we have those
Right.
early seniors, we can let the
Okay.
waitlist seniors on, or are we gonna, are
Well,
we gonna kind of play it and see? how it goes?
technically, that's up to you all. Honestly, like, I'm not the numbers person, but if our cap is 64 and we don't have 64 and the only people who are on the wait list are seniors,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it also like kind of tilts enrollment in certain classes, might make the class sizes a little big.
Yeah.
Because now we're starting to understand also how while it is super valuable and incredibly beneficial in some settings to have mixed grade classes, in some instances it's simply not appropriate anymore at the high school level.
yeah.
In elementary, which we all have experience teaching, at the elementary level, it works out a lot better, a lot more often, and it's just not the case at the high school level. And that's okay, because we're where you're at, right? And so that's the conflict with the leaving in the fall. Also, a senior who starts senior year at one school may not want to leave that school halfway through the year. So, that would also lean towards like letting them in anyways, like logically, but
Well, we're speaking the first person on the wait list, I'll say me, who did it before, didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that factor to it, if they love to have their experience something else, I'm not gonna make it, versus if they're new.
It's a case by case.
yeah. But that's the thing, is that I don't think we were allowed to do it by case, we have to like decide what the policy is and then stick to that. In the past, not last year, but right, because now I've already been doing this for 2 whole years, which is why. But the year before this past academic year, we had decided if, or the board had decided, because I don't have really know, but the board had decided if we hadn't met enrollment, like full enrollment, if there was a balance in some of the other classes, we could let them go. going over is to 20, because the
Yes.
cap is supposed to be 16.
Mhm.
So even with 2 students leaving after the fall semester,
We're still over.
we're still over
Yeah.
by 2 students
Yeah.
and still not meeting our enrollment cap.
Right.
So,
I will note there were two different policies that we adopted. One was that if up to a week before school year started, if we had a witness in one class and there was space in the school, we could go up to 20 in a class. A second policy was that we did say that we could go up by the number of first semester graduates. Like if students are going to leave, like say,
Right,
if there's,
yes.
if we've got 16 seniors or 18 seniors, leave,
Yeah.
2 more. So,
Staff measure, if you still had space right before school, does that mean we can allow up to 22 seniors, knowing that 2 seniors are leaving? Also,
I would say that's not my interpretation of it, but that when it comes to that, we can have a meeting.
Yes,
Yeah, if it comes to that,
absolutely.
we can talk about it and try to sort it out.
And I will say at this point last year, we had a list of.
oh, and actually, potentially a student. No, not with the sibling, but will be, we've gotten word that one of these students may not be returning next year. Who is in the senior class. Would still be 19. But, if that's the case, probably not a decision until right.
Right.
When we have more numbers, there's always that kind of, beginning.
Could we
of
have
school
super
year.
junior instead of super?
So do the register same time for years?
I mean,
different systems.
It's different.
Yeah, after registration, process, submitted a form intent to enroll. We collected the independent school year. At this point, he was collected all of our students. But they don't need to go through the entire process.
I would say, registration for school starts, that's open.
Except for your senior class.
yeah, we have the current whole year. And so we have a student join us for a year. That's
KCA. It's on the website, right, like how it works like that, like it like
Timeline.
explains it, yeah.
Yeah, it's on one of the tabs on the website. Like how our lottery works.
Right. And how like they, every time during the school year, and they work, they go on the wait list and. Cool, yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully we get a bunch of, serious. That's it for the moment. Are we all good? Anything you have any community connection they will talk about?
Oh, and actually we could do that. I don't worry.
Yeah. It was very sparse, very sparse. The water play. So, there was not a lot of communication about.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were more on
Yeah.
No, the kids were on the water slide. Nobody, there's only one other couple of figures. So, yeah, it's like, it wasn't happening till 7 maybe, music during, so. It was not the full fair that we.
Saying about your homeschool.
Thanks for
Would you
trying,
agree?
yeah.
I mean, just in terms of like, I've never been at an underdog school event that literally had 2 booths and.
Right, because the spring one, person who's running on spring was one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it was really hot. But I brought my books. But anyway, I was able to raise $60. KCA. However, I can't find that envelope.
Still closer.
So, yeah, so I was able to get $20. So when I find it, that envelope, who do I give it
Yeah.
In August.
to? And so that might be in August?
Yeah.
That's fine,
I'm gonna
find it.
If you find it, call me and I will come get it from you and I will put it in my board. If you get nervous about it,
Okay.
I'm here for you, Sally.
She's checking her phone.
Thank you.
Okay, any other connections?
I did want to mention, this coming up academic year, since both of my kids are going to Berlin, I requested not staying for a period in so that I can school drop off duty. And so a part of that intention, besides being a part of getting school, is so that I can be there for the time to like be a person from our school. So I will.
Thanks for being our pioneers.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And then we go all the way to grade there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we can literally funnel, not, that's, I don't like that
I
word,
know.
And educate. Yeah. We'll just let them know that they have another option.
Yeah, there's next one.
I mentioned this sort of. That was center in July, month. And so it's not an official KC partnership, but we're definitely wrangling some people involved. Terry's gonna be doing live off painting and also a lot of fashion. So they're making down here in Square. Also gonna be putting in social media for all teens, so any teens that you know. Also adults can absolutely make the fashion.
Because it's mostly
It's
an
called
adult
Mom-a-thon. It's so it's on Saturday, July 20th. Do it. It has live music by Lindsay. Michael Franklin's providing food. We're gonna have an online raffle and a silent auction, and then a fashion show. A bunch of and it's adults oriented event, but there will be beer and wine there, but you
It is the same day as this. So that's something that you're committed to. Yeah, how much of that is the next day, let's start, like, okay.
Well, they start,
Yeah, you could probably.
yeah, they usually start.
Who starts it?
The sun
Oh, it's not the bus later also.
Yeah.
Starts at 7.
Because they got to draw into them.
Yeah.
I see.
There's also like horses, hooves, animals that day. This is still institute students on all the bats. So
Yeah.
summer Saturday.
Summer Saturday.
We have something going on.
Oh, healing hearts and hooves.
Yeah.
I will be at it.
It's Susan Taylor, the bartending that one, and then come to Mark.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you want to have any those like any flyers that you want, you can send it to me. I'll put it on.
This is the end of August, big day, Labor Day.
If you, wants to coordinate it.
Was that the
Like a
parade, the
table?
festival?
We did a photo this year, coordinate.
Higher intensive.
It was all intensive, yeah, sort of,
It was great.
thank you.
Yeah.
It was a great flip. It was really cool.
That would be.
All of these.
Do we have to reinvent the wheel? Like, could you kind of repurpose?
Have to really hear it instead of having to fix of it.
Being excited for the.
Yes. We gotta do it. I know. Yeah, Smash the Car fundraiser. You mentioned that. I'm gonna repeat it out loud. That's my action.
I talked to Charity about it. At the and she was like, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
That's the place for it, you know?
What's the, like, what's
It was parents at our annual meeting, it was parents fundraising, which was, Smash the Car, fundraiser where you get like 3 smashes for $5. And here's a crappy car, here's a sledgehammer, here's a piece of $5.
And think about
And safety up.
So where do we
Set up with the
smashing? Yes, where we do car smashing. Yeah. I mean, if we should do it in the parking lot here, like, we could, yeah, that was my idea.
People would just walk down,
Yes.
smash in the car right in front of the Labor Day Festival.
Yes. Yeah, that would be really cool. And if we,
Fire something here, or in the car, or
Right.
I wouldn't mind overseeing, car smashing.
and the car with wheels, so it doesn't roll.
Yeah.
So it can't be too. Yeah, all the way, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Smashing actually happened here,
Yeah.
is direct.
And we had several. From the same type. And it's like, kind of the thing that. You know, like I would do more than one car, or every year,
Cars, they're going.
I know, so there's a whole bunch on my property, and they can come. Exactly, and then maybe like Jerry Towing would like donate the towing. Okay, you know, it could be like a thing where it doesn't really cost us anything, we just provide the sledgehammer or the
Safety
whatever,
goggles,
the safety
sledgehammer,
gear,
the
yeah,
vehicle,
the helmet.
and then we help. Well, that actually sounds like a pretty easy and fun. What do we have to consider for like insurance? What's actually required? Do we need like insurance for that situation?
We should talk to their insurance, yeah.
And in that way, we have to still do that, if we set up at the park, talk to the Labor Day trustee organizers and see if there was somewhere that they could set us up down there where they can insurance for them.
That might be cool.
Yeah, I don't think they go for it, plus there's not.
I mean, trucks, you figure like, they're already taking.
But that truck is a private, that's a private property.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And after this.
Yeah, someone bought that.
This would be at the park and thing, so.
Why would
Which we get people.
Okay.
I would take like a day.
Yeah, I would sell tickets. I would, so. Maybe we should talk about this one again.
Well, put it on August 3rd.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
talk about it in August and if we're gonna make it happen.
We'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah, but well, before August 3rd.
That's all I can get today.
Yeah, I think it's pretty flexible.
Yeah, we didn't get.
So you can get
And it's like, it's like Monique runs it.
Okay.
The Labor Day from Nicholas would be.
Well, let's talk about that again on here.
Yes.
Do we have the staff report?
Just that it's summer tomorrow, after tomorrow, when we're ready, right? That's it.
Yay.
What else do we have to do? Already did it. We did,
retreat.
yeah, we did retreat, and here we go. We talked about the process, just as we were all talking about the review process for each other, basically, calling it more of a classroom visit, developing reflection, so it's
On the balls.
you're growing more about.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
Was that?
Oh yeah, we're finally moving all the way forward with turning back our insurance, our rent insurance people have prickled about our good work and
That's actually on the agenda.
amazing. So yes, so the original idea where it was already a little bit of a headache. It's the end of the year, and so our plan to turn into a staff position is on the description is more or less finished tomorrow. And not all of them. Filter it down and I think that the deadline will be the end of July. I think they're leaving it open for more because that is, I believe, like it's been a long position.
Those, they keep it open longer and other potential applicants.
Yeah, so that's moving forward.
So do you, then, do they have to reapply?
Position, they can just like offer to renew their contract every year. Yeah, so, yep. They can say no. I don't think.
Well, we're not getting this student report. So let's just move on from our summer student. I already know you.
Did I report about the art show already? I covered it.
Then let's move on to new business. We got a long list of today. We have a long list of new business today. So first up is the. schedule.
They want to pass it on. This this is our schedule of salaries and wages. And it is generally basically goes on giving a, a piece of about 3.4%. And or at least there's a step for each year. Blah, blah, blah. This is what we got. We earlier in the year we talked about substitute more of a flat rate for that. So we can do that. Our any ratings. Now our office manager is at step 3 for being in her 3rd year. Our food service manager is starting at step 2 for starting in the 2nd year. Our Title 1 assistants will be at step 1 February when first year there were 3 of us who will be starting our 4th year, 4 and 2 will be separate. I would like just to as accepted wage schedule. I have found with our auditors and others that they often say, not just what's your schedule, but show, half the time they have a show proof of approval. And so it helps me if it's not just accepted, but if there's actual motion and approval on it, you can say, oh yeah, I've worked with you, 29th.
So we can show that.
And we did do we did do an approval.
Yeah, we already,
Not as stands, I don't think, it's parts of it.
Yes,
And just putting it all together.
Well, I motion to approve this step for 2026, 27.
Hey, thanks. Also, that same agenda item, you'll notice it says also key dates. This is something that I think as, just like what our payroll schedule is when, so this is nothing, really new. It's just, let me know if you have questions, but I would also like to request a motion and approval for, it's on the website. This is our pay schedule for 26, 27, when people will get paid.
Approve a calendar for 2026, 27. Motion to approve the payroll calendar, 6/27. All in favor? Okay.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Leader contract.
This is a sample one. These are, they all look the same, but you'll see there's different names. But you can hear it, you can try it.
Okay, so they're individualized.
So, very little changes from previous years. This is kind of
Yeah.
the one change at the top. You'll notice under the, where it says the period. Sometimes it would say 24, 25 academic year. Here we have specifically included a very specific date. August 1st through June 30th, just to be very clear. The one update then, other than saying these are the specific dates and the rates, and you just approved the leader rates. So, even though we discussed it previously and you approved it in our budget, is a motion to approve these as a teacher leader contracts. Of course, if there's a second discussion, you can ask any questions, of course. But I would love if you could approve of the next year, teacher leaders.
I motion to approve the teacher leader contract.
All in favor? Or
You have to sign each contract.
But we will be asking Grace to sign. Thank you.
do you want me to do that now? Are they all here?
There's one extra, the 6 of you, because there's 5 teacher leaders, and I wanted to give 6 of you a copy. So
Oh, okay.
if you sign all of the ones that are out there, or if people want to keep a copy, I can bring them.
So what are you saying, you want these back?
If you give them to me, I can sign them.
Oh, so this is just,
Just showing us.
I'm just saying on yours though, I put the date today, and it's the 6th page, or maybe not today, hard copy.
Lots of pictures today.
I got more coming too.
It's the 29th, right?
Yes.
And it's sitting all this stuff on. I know.
You like to go?
Here, you throw this away. I do, I literally do. a folder of all the things that I before. Free range lunch. Yeah.
Well, did you say you already put that in, or do I need to, or should I keep?
I did.
Just makes me panic. Should I be signing up? We enrolled in it.
Great design that means you can set that.
Let's get a piece. Hey, check out how to perform.
Get her done, right? Okay. So next up on this is an ad hoc committee for 6.74 Sky.
Don't know if you necessarily need an ad hoc committee, because we did have a meeting. Sitting out, but yeah, I got one for you. And this one, feel free to have this back again. Relevant to you, just wanted to give you guys an idea of like, what is academic side or course side. We don't have one yet. And I tried to do it last summer, and I just did not get to it. And last summer, our focus was on getting this which is similar, but it's kind of thing. So I so I made a new binder for the course guide, and if this is something you think I might be able to help out with this, I printed a course guide from National High School for this year. And then also, so we could get a local Oregon one. Then also, I found a charter high school in Grass Valley, California. That's kind of along the like hippie like we are. It's called Forest Charter School. So I printed that one out as well. And then the papers I just gave you all includes page one is us. This is kind of inside our brains, the spreadsheet of our working table of contents. And what we'd like to have in our course guide. And we did have a teacher leader sign up to be the responsible person for each section, but then I circled this next column. So you've got one column that says who's responsible for writing the content of this section. And basically, teacher leaders took notes. And the next column, who could be the second person helper for the section that's called upon by the overwhelmed responsible person for the section. Like just like maybe, just one person you can be like, oh. And maybe all they can do to help is be like, you've got to put something so you're not spinning in circles. And then to do layout. And so the next page that I printed is just a comment for the Ashland course guide. And the final page is just the introductory for that course. To give you a sense of like, well, what is this? And that is something I want to really think about and feel no pressure. Or in July, with no pressure on myself either. I set a deadline of doing a draft in August. And if you'll notice, there's August 1st is here in one of the columns. That's Sarah. Sarah's about to go on the So Sarah's setting a deadline for herself on August 1st. And so when I'm trying to reassure her, like, Sarah, like, you can move, give your pieces to us, but we need to go your pieces. That's Sarah's a pretty definitely not in that mode yet. Sarah's a go-getter. She's like, nope, I got it. So she probably will go quicker. But also, the rest of us can work. And so to get it on the website. So that first school, right now, but it doesn't have this give the history of why it's or what is an intensive. It doesn't do all that. And Black. Yeah. At this moment, if anybody feels like, yes, I want to help out, speak up now. We have no pressure on anybody to like join in.
I can help you, I can try to see if we different places where I feel like I can bring up. So should we just touch base?
Yeah, you send an email to keep me on. Okay.
Oh, so you don't need someone to fill in each little spot, you don't need a name for each line. You just,
Yeah, we have a teacher leader, but we don't have the backups.
Yeah.
So if you see
Oh,
Ryan is putting himself,
Ryan put it himself.
yeah, and then I'll add mine, I just didn't get around to adding mine into Triangle as well, like, we'll have back each other up, but also. You guys, if really interested. So yeah, Mindy, can you send me a quick note?
Yep.
Yeah, anyone else do that?
Casey, what would that look like? Would it be like a meeting with teacher leaders?
I think partly because of the whole ago, of like, deadline in August. I'm a little nervous because I couldn't make them. And so to know like someone from the board is like helping us meet this deadline and check it. So that's one level of like, you know, contact, just helping us.
That's good. I was like, I don't know.
Like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, just kind of like, well, it just that some outside ways to remind us of, oh yeah, we're gonna get it done this summer. So that's what I help. And another way to actually want to. And also, there was before, so we're kind of like, you know, like figuring out how to go along. I have like trying to have like a modest goal for the summer, that it's not going to be anything, but that needed a good start.
But the sacred time is all July time. Like, I hope I hear you say.
Not for meetings, yes, but like, if I'm talking about something, not going to be kind of. Yeah, but maybe it would be, you know, one meeting before that month. Yeah. Or you want to send me an email and just. Oh, yeah, unless if you have specific areas, that you know, you wanna, like.
I just saw one, I'm like, oh, I could write that.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Right, I picked things that were just like definition things that didn't. Like,
Yeah.
that's a clearly.
Yeah, like that's the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, you don't have it.
And the cool thing when you look at the sample ones, that everything's really short. It's not like 3 pages on our philosophy.
Yeah, it's just a little paragraph, but it all adds up to.
Yeah. Write it down and then maybe just an email also, like.
Okay, next up, and now for contractor insurance, hold harmless policy.
Hi, Brad. This is an email that I shared with Mindy and Mary Grace. Everyone, I'll let you guys share if one of you got one. This is coming out of meetings I've been holding with insurance people, and they say they've reviewed a lot of our contracts and say they're not maybe not as airtight as insurers would like them to be. And so there's certain things that they're requesting we add for subcontractors. We don't have that many. It's Jenny Home, Project U Plus, around and then and the 3 things that they'd like to do in our sort of years. One is the whole harmless agreement. It says that if the contractor on our property does something that causes And then you gotta sign that. Yeah, if I trip and fall, you mind, well, I'm gonna hold you. It's not your, this is sort of language that insurers wanna see. The thing is they want contractors. And this is not something that we've asked for in the past for like 2 years. Like show up.
This will be in their staff position,
Correct.
right? So it'll really just be preparing how long we can project. This project is a scary one.
I believe in you, but this would make them show it.
So that. It's a financial burden for them.
So, there's a couple of financial, there's costs for insurance. I did ask when I had the meeting with our insurer, I said, like this cost. And so maybe for like a tutor, it might be $500 a year. It's not a huge amount, but also it's not insignificant. So it
Not
can,
substantial.
and so it could mean that, you know, for some things, maybe they raise their, maybe cleaners and do that, and it's like $3 an hour or whatever. So, and then the third thing was adding our organization as an which basically extends their own coverage to while they're working at KCA. So you know, one thing we do as a board is that we say, hey, yeah, we require this. Or maybe before we get to that point, we have my suggestion was maybe an ad hoc committee. Maybe there's 3 or 4 of us who can sit around and hammer out, like, see what questions are like. That question of what is the cost to our contractors. And so I bring that to the board because the insurers are telling me we really need. And so I don't feel, especially with contracts, that's something the board really has oversight. If we are tying the organization into something you guys are responsible for.
Well, I would be into being on that committee August, so.
Ideally, it would be before the school year begins, so anytime we're
Yeah.
if we can
August. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd be part of that conversation.
By chance, you had a conversation between those people already about it?
I did speak with one of our tutors about it, and I was trying to essentially giving. Have not spoken to the cleaners yet because there's been a discussion of moving into a. Also, Project Youth Plus has insurance, it's just not necessary. The contract that we have with them, and so for some of them,
Just be wording.
for some of them, it's wording. It's not.
Yeah, and. Can you join this?
Best practice.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about that. Let's do that. Okay. Roundhouse grant for townhouse publishing.
Oh, that's me. So we are the which publishes the Illinois Valley News. As the fiscal sponsor, if we want to apply for a grant, they can't because most grants owners only want one organization. I'm not gonna say, oh, Kelly Oxis, you can apply for 8 grants. And then, as you guys know, in the past few years, whenever we're applying for a grant, we come to the board for approval. Roundhouse is one that none of the teacher leaders, and I believe the board is interested in applying. It's not one that as far as I know, not one that we discussed. Elk County Publishing would like to Roundhouse. The application period is January through November. Somewhat of a rolling application period, I believe. They are looking up to $5,000. It could cover the cost for a staff or board member to attend an educational conference or training, hire a consultant. Journalism, storytelling, art, culture, heritage, and so and so the request, and I am a board member of County Council Publishing, so I come to you as cheerleader here, a liaison to County Council, and as a member of County Council Publishing, to ask if under the fiscal sponsorship, KCA, you would approve County Office Publishing for pulling up to $5,000 with the ring. We thank you on behalf of County Office Publishing.
Bought one the other day and brought it home. I was so satisfied.
Yeah, we made my mom read it.
Okay, so community teacher sick leave.
Oh, that's me.
First reading. It should have like a million little hats to change.
Oh my God, Russian doll hat. Ryan Russian doll hat.
This is in my role here as human resources. We have, this is proposing a change.
I think I have an email already.
So this is a proposal because of a difficulty with and complexity with our positions. We have community teachers who are also substitutes. And what we have said in the past is a community teacher would start with a bank of sick leave. So, here's 5 hours to start. But then a lot of the same people are substitutes. I did immediately separate them within our program. I will need to do that going forward. But I think what this would do is make it easier and it's changing the front from 5 to 3.34, but then it's counting approval for all hours. In front of the bank, even though the bank looks like in the past, you just start with 5, that's what you got, and it kind of complicates things when you're also in the office, studying in the classroom, community teacher, and so
This kind of negates
having to compartmentalize and sort all of those things. Basically, like, here's your bank as a community teacher, and now here's your approval for community teacher sub and everything else. And so it's working out to about the same. Actually, better if you're working one. So if you're,
that makes sense to me.
and so in the interest of not trying to rush through a vote and things each meeting, like as a policy change, I do think it makes sense for us to give a second reading. So I'm not asking you to make a motion. Some of those other things like the contracts and like scheduling, I feel like we can vote on it this time because it's just changing the dates. It's something we've always done. But with a policy change, I do feel it's appropriate to give. So this will allow you also time to either ask me questions today or throughout the month on email, or to talk to community teachers or subsequently affected, and then we can come back and have a discussion next.
Okay. Okay, cyber incident response plan.
Oh, that's me. Hi, friends. Pass it on. As you all are aware, I have been sick in the art world for feels like much of the school year. And this is the sort of thing, not just audits, but also insurers. I get a lot of questionnaires. The auditors are like, "Do you have this policy?" The insurers are like, "Do you have this policy?" And this is just one of those that both. So I actually asked Daniel one assistant. He is working he was working with our WEX students in computing stuff, and as part of that, separate from titling, I did ask him if he could develop the cyber incident response plan. And so, again, first reading, not asking you to have to read it and understand it. Basically, the cyber incident response plan establishes procedures for identifying, responding to, covering from, and documenting cyber security incidents affecting school systems and data. The purpose is to provide a standard process for identifying and responding to these things. And you can see there's incident severity level, incident response team, reporting procedure, containment procedures, and communication procedures, legal compliance. And so the idea is that we will come into benefit insurers and auditors and like, hey, what do you guys do? If there's a cyber risk. And so, any questions about this? I feel with the reading, we have to read it all, and you just like.
So they just want this thing written in place, they don't want to see examples.
I mean, I want it in place, but it should be something that we would follow. It's not just that we're like, oh, here's a thing.
It's a plan.
It's a plan.
And is this another transition policy?
I will ask Daniel that. I'm not.
That it's like.
So again,
Are you like in this language, like you're the tech coordinator? You're him, or is there somebody else who holds that?
we've got it.
You know, I was the tech person who website that I launched, and you know, we don't have an official. Daniel's actually the person who has their contact team.
So.
And my friend are interested, but not in instead of teaching.
Plays a lot of, yeah. So as far as, that's a great question, I'm like.
Is there a way to add to quizzes?
Yeah. See the degree to which you would be interested in taking extra hours.
Okay.
I guess we should just all read this and think about it. No.
No.
Nope, that's why you gave it to us, so that we
know.
can do our first reading.
Do our first reading.
Out loud, in front of the taxpayers. These are feeling and meaning.
And great curiosity.
We should get pictures.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So this person, Clay, is, sounds like he's a community teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so then if he does take this on, you said from now, I don't know if we have this or not. Is it, if they accrue as many hours and they become full-time staff, is that what this is or not? Community teacher or?
We would be able to afford that, we have to have a conversation and say, can you do up to 5 hours a week or whatever number that would be.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, we don't
Oh,
have.
wow, okay,
We don't have
that's
that.
great to know, because I was really curious about what that would look like. And you don't have to do it.
Anything over 5 is volunteer hours.
For legal purposes,
And, that's per day, right?
oh, I had it, it's gone.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Okay, well, that looks like that's our agenda, guys. Our next meeting is at 4:30. And I don't hear a word from you guys, and that you're just on the line.
I know you guys are having fair.
I'll park my car down the street.
Are we wrapped? Is that adjourned?
We'll see you next fiscal year.
Oh, yeah.